we find that Avram Avinu invites in these three men who look like strangers, wanderers, and they come in and they give over wonderful news. And here, if we take a look at source number 1, Pasuk tells us, they said to him, "Where is Sarah your wife?" And he replied, Avram Avinu replied, "In the tent." And he, the guest, said, "I will return to you this time next year, and behold, Sarah, your wife, will have a son." The Torah tells us that Sarah was listening at the entrance of the tent, which was behind him, and that's a very ambiguous phrase. Now Avram and Sarah are old, well on in years. The manner of women had ceased to be with Sarah. And Sarah laughed to herself, saying, "After I have withered, will I again be youthful? And my husband is old." Hashem said to Abraham, "Why is it that Sarah laughs, saying, 'Shall I in truth bear a child after I age?' Hayipalei Hashem davar? Is there anything beyond Hashem? At the appointed time I will return to you next year, and Sarah will have a son." And then what's not in front of us, we then have the Chumash going on and saying that Sarah denied it, saying, "I did not laugh, for she was frightened." But he said, "No, you laughed indeed." That is the end of this particular section. And then later on we have, once Yitzchak is born, indeed, as was promised, we once again have this inyan of laughter. Where Avram was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born, this is Parakaf Aleph to him, Sarah said, "God has made laughter for me. Whoever hears will laugh for me." So we have this theme of laughter connected to the birth of Yitzchak, which needs to be explored. Obviously, in this particular section, there are many, many questions that are raised. It's a very, very complicated section. A lot of Mefarshim have many, many, many different approaches to it. And obviously, and I say this over and over again, we're not even scratching the surface. But that's okay that we are able at least to get somewhat of an insight with a particular mindset of how it applies for our lives. The overall question I'd like to ask is one very basic question. Right? Obviously, if we take a look at the text itself, there are myriads of questions. Who are these angels? What does it mean that it was behind him? Why is Sarah listening? Why wasn't she part of them? What is this laughter of Sarah? We know Avram Avinu also laughed when he hears that he's going to have a child. Why is Sarah Imenu critiqued? Why isn't Avram Avinu critiqued? Why is it that Sarah denies the laughter? What does it mean for she was frightened? Why is the Kadosh Baruch Hu insisting, no, that you did laugh? There are a lot of technical questions when we take a look at the text. And in Mirz Hashem, we'll deal with some of these questions. Again, there's a lot more to be said, but we'll try to get a handle a bit on the Parshat Mikra. But the one overall question that I would like to deal with today, and I think it's a very yesodi question, and it's a question that the Mefarshim ask, is that everything in the Chumash is here to teach me a lesson. Everything in the Chumash is a model for how we need to live our lives. And the Siva Shalom over and over again stresses this idea that nothing in Chumash is just a story or something nice, but something really that we need to be able to integrate into our lives. So I can understand the whole story of inviting in the guests and the idea of the alacrity that Avram Avinu expresses and the attention that he shows to the guests. Tremendous lessons for our lives. But the one question I'd like to ask today is, here it seems that Sarah Imenu is being criticized. She's being critiqued. She's being told straight out, you're lying. You tell me you didn't laugh. You did laugh. It's not a very complimentary section of Sarah Imenu. And I agree with you that Chumash is very honest with us. And the Ramban himself will say, Sarah Imenu, our foremother, sinned, and the Torah doesn't hide these things. But when it does tell us these things, it tells us these things for a reason. And the question that I'd like to try to pose for today is, what are we supposed to learn? What are the lessons? What is the mindset that we're supposed to gain from this story of Sarah Imenu denying it, laughing, and being told, no, you did laugh, and recognize that you did laugh, and it's important to know that you laughed. What are we supposed to gain for our lives? And then the secondary question is, obviously, as we pointed out, Avram Avinu laughing, Sarah Imenu laughing, and further on when he's born, this Choka Sali Elokim, all this laughter is It's found in the name of the child, Yitzchak, which means that one in the future will show this laughter, will express this laughter. And if this is a name that's going to be encoded in one of the avos, obviously there's something very fundamental, something very crucial about this laughter that we need to be able to examine and explain as well. Before we look at the three different dimensions of the lessons that we can potentially glean from this particular section, I want to begin with a very interesting hakdama, with a very interesting introduction, which I think is necessary in order for us to have the correct mindset when entering into such a section. And that's, how do we look at our avos and the imahos? And clearly, there's a lot to be said on this topic, and really it deserves many shiurim, that we're talking about individuals who are beyond our ability to understand. Yes, they're human. Yes, we can learn from them.